So this is a quick response to the question on YouTube asking how I combine auto layout with symbols in Sketch. And Necto Designer just today responded saying he's having a little trouble doing this. So here's a quick, very super quick response in tutorial on Sketch on how to do this. What I've created so far is I've created a rectangle and a button label, which is centered within an element. I've done nothing else. I haven't grouped them or anything. What I am going to do now is I'm going to create a group or create a symbol. I'm going to call it button, and I'm going to then edit the button in the symbol, as you can see here. Now, auto layout works exactly the same inside an artboard or a symbol, which is technically an artboard, as it does in groups and whatnot. So what I can do is I can take this rectangle element, and if I pin it to the left, right, top, and bottom of its board, it will scale accordingly to its artboard, right? So if I make this artboard larger, it'll automatically do that. The next thing you do is you take the text field, and in this case, I'm going to pin it center vertically and horizontally. And I'm also going to pin the left and right to keep the gap spacing between the label and the edge the same. And what that allows you to do once you've done that is it allows you to have a fully scalable, resizable, wrappable button. Well, I probably wouldn't build a button like that, but you could. That you need. And you can take this a step further, obviously, by taking the rectangle and creating a symbol of this. I'm going to call this blue button background. And then if you duplicate this and create for example, if I did a light blue background, which I've created a style for, this could be a highlight state, so this could be blue button rollover. Or I'm really not thinking too much about it. Or if I needed a cancel button, we could I have a gray button, and I could call this gray button. And one of the nice things about what you can do in symbols, as you know, nested symbols can be overridden. So in here, for example, the blue button background, which is a symbol nested inside this button symbol, right? This is the button symbol. Is if they are the same height and width, which they are because they're duplicates of each other, you can override them. So if I needed a quick rollover state, I could, or if I, for example, so if this is, and you can override text too, which is great, because now I have a universal button. I can make this a submit button, and then if it's too wide, I can shrink it, right, and make it 120, and then if I needed a cancel button, right, I could take this and give it a gray button background and say cancel. And there we go. Now we have one button element, one button symbol with a couple dynamic background styles that you can now reuse wherever you want. So, if you need a different kind of button over here or whatnot, you can do that. You can make them bigger or smaller. You can't change the font size. I suppose you could probably, if you wanted to, you could take this text style, right? And I could create a symbol here and call it button big text, right? And then, so here's button big text over here. Where's the style? And give the layer a background color that you don't export. And then if I duplicated this, I could have button small text and a smaller font size, right? So you can make this like 14, for example. And that's probably vertically align it a little bit. And so now, if I wanted to make smaller versions of these buttons, to say I wanted to make them this small, I can now change the text symbols inside them as well. And I see that it's a little off, and that's great because all I have to do is go 1, 2, 3 or something like that, and it automatically fixes it. And then, just like before, you can, this can be reset, this can be send or something, And now you have a completely dynamic. Oops, did I? Oh, for some reason, when I created a symbol of this, its pin got lost, so you have to repin the element inside. So now, again, I fixed that, so now it's... Oh, interesting. Do I have to also... I bet you I have to now do this on the actual symbol itself. So, yep, and now it works appropriately. And that is how you build a fully reusable button using auto layout and symbols. Thanks for watching. How do I stop?